Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, it is your creation. Now, learn how to make it sing. Today, some special guests in studio with us as well. They may look familiar. We've got a couple. Well, we got one 21-6 the Net Junkie. Jeff, you're getting close. Today, all about how to protect your business. Welcome in, gang.
Look at that. I can't believe you got the whole video to work and everything.
Yeah, today I did. It was wonderful. Oh, and by the way, brought to you through the
let's plug
support of our good
sponsors.
friends at Epic Media. Jess, if you're out there listening, I would love to do the read, but you got a black screen. She went black screen on us.
Technical difficulties on your website.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's run through our guests who we have here. Ladies first, please start.
Sure.
Sally.
I'm Sally Santos, one half of Health Markets Insurance Santos Agency on Green Street. Thank you for having me.
Hey, look who's on.
Wait, how do they contact you?
Oh, well, I don't know how deep you want me to go. So you can reach us at 815-271-5438. Or you can just stop in and see us if you're local to us. So we insure people, not things: health insurance, Medicare, life, dental, vision.
Yeah,
There
but
you go.
you're
That
a
was-
numbers lady, so you
That
like
was
to
a
go
perfect
deep.
deepness.
Yeah, she's a numbers lady, so she likes to go deep.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Before
Jeff is-
Jeff goes, my mom says hi. So hi, Mom.
Hi.
Linda!
Hi, Linda.
And happy
Happy
birthday!
Happy birthday!
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott.
We renamed him.
Michael.
Michael.
Michael. Happy birthday, Michael. All right, Jeff, go ahead, kick it.
All right, Jeff Bryant, Church Insurance Agency. Got a small office located in Woodstock. How you get in touch with me? Phone number 847-361-2403 or Jeff Bryant at churchinsagency.com.
That's it.
You don't need to talk about
And of
yourself.
course, if Jeff answers the phone, say no, not you, the other Jeff.
Right.
better
The better
Yeah.
looking Jeff.
Yeah,
Right,
that guy.
right. Yeah. Taller, better looking.
Much more distinguished.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, I like that line. That line. Go ahead, Steph. Oh, low blow to him, man. That's a hard one. Jeez.
Yes. This whole. Oh, now Gavin's watching too. So
Oh,
hey,
clean
Gavin.
it up. All
Clean
right,
it
we gotta
up.
clean it up.
Earmuffs, Gavin. Earmuffs.
Gavin's listening.
Oh,
Isn't he
he's an
supposed to be at
adult.
work? Steph Conley with Steph's Bookkeeping Service, 847-942-3004.
Joe Turner, Restoration One, 847-264-4664. All your dirty, nasty, disgusting cleanup needs, we love to do it. That's it.
Selena's head's just in the way, just a little bit there. If she just moved over towards Jeff a little bit, we could get that whole number in the shot.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well, listen, it's okay. Listen, I'm okay. Everybody knows their number. You're fine. I get it in all the other shows, so
All
I'm
right,
good.
so let's dive into.
Yeah.
We're talking protecting your business and your people today. So that's why we have Sally and Jeff on, because they protect the people and the things.
Yeah.
And so, Joe, you said you rostered up a list of things you want us to go through.
So I kind of did, you got to know what to protect. And I did a little research, and it's not that I don't do this stuff, but it's more like I wanted to kind of reiterate to myself what you got to make sure you protect. So I, just kind of found some things in the wonderful online research base. And so first one is choose the right business form when you start a business, right? So you don't want to go and start your business with anything like some people do sole proprietor, LLC. You can do a corp, an S corp, however you want to do it. And I'm going to run through these quick, and then we'll talk about all of them. But hire an attorney. If you don't have one like that is literally in your back pocket, just literally have something available that you can go to, that you can discuss with an accountant, bookkeeper, right? Once you grow, you grow into the bookkeeper. And then it starts to get in, that's starting the business. Then it starts to get into the things that you actually do during the business, which would be first and foremost is being smart about your customers. I think we all have stories here of the things that the clients that have drug you out for so little pay that you're like, ugh, you just don't want to do that one again, right? And whatever it may be, but also in that realm is making sure that you have the proper contracts in place. So that way we all know, so that way everybody's on the same page of what's going to be done for what price and how it's going to be done and all this jazz. So being smart about your new customers is a big one. In business insurance, buying insurance, that's you two right there. Insurance is a very big thing with protecting your business. And that one is probably what we're going to spend the most time on. But then last two would be protect your employees. Again, that actually falls into the insurance, right? But not only that, but if there were a storm to blow into this building, how do we all escape from this building? How do we all protect ourselves, right? Things like that. And then the final one is your business data and cybersecurity. So I loved that simple 7-step list of the things that you need to go through to make sure your business is protected, and talking to the proper people in that realm is really one of the things that we're going to dwell on today for those kind of things. So starting from the beginning, choosing the right business form. Who's got the right form? Did you have to change yours?
We did.
You did?
Yeah. So we went from an LLC to an S Corp. And maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you guys can shine some light on this. There obviously was a specific reason why we had to do it for clearly tax purposes.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
And our accountant was the one that said, this is what you need to change in the year coming up, or advised us to do so. And then, of course, we looked into it and determined. But I personally don't know, like, why LLC versus S Corp versus any other choice.
Do you know?
Well, so each thing offers its own set of rules and protections. So if you're a sole proprietor and you're using your social security number as your identifying marker, then you would just still qualify for a personal bank account, and you would qualify as like a 1099.
Got it.
The next step up would be getting an LLC, and then you'll have an FEIN number with the government. And then that gives you that extra layer of protection between your business and your personal, which you are still required. So me being an LLC partnership, all of my clients, I send a W-9 to every year, and they're technically supposed to send me a 1099 back because I'm an LLC if they've spent more than $600 with me in a year.
Which most companies, I feel, start as the LLC.
I'm not changing. And then you can
I didn't say you were. Whoa. Whoa.
And
I got defensive quick.
So
Jeez.
then the next level is you could remain an LLC and file and do a sub S filing, which then the owners of the business would then be eligible for traditional payroll. On an LLC, you're not eligible for traditional payroll.
So
is that what you're doing?
You know, that makes a lot of sense because we started paying ourselves. So we have like a payroll. And then the other part of it is we have, well, I mean, that goes into paying it, but like a business account. So how you're saying separating between yourself and your business, like giving you that layer of protection, that's probably the biggest reason why people do it.
Correct. Yeah, that's what we have.
I started as an S Corp. My accountant was awesome. She laid out the pros and cons of every different avenue that I could have gone. So we ultimately opted for the S Corp because, much like Sally said, everything goes into that business bank account, and then it simply passes over and passes through to you personally via the business bank account. And like Steph had mentioned, there's obviously pros and cons to everything, but talking to an accountant who also then introduced me directly to an attorney to help file all that paperwork. And then with the S Corp, as far as paying myself, as Sally mentioned, getting a W-2 every year from my S Corp to do that, it's you guys are the professionals. You tell me what to do, where to sign, where to send the check. I'm going to link arms with you if there's ever any issues, questions, whatnot. This is what you specialize in. So I cannot stress.
If we're going down, you're coming with me.
You're standing next to me on
you're coming with me. Yeah.
That's what they do. obviously Sally and I are the insurance experts. I'm going to pass that onus on to the accountant and the attorney to set us up properly to be successful.
I mean,
Love
the,
that.
the
We
biggest
we have a
difference-
question from the
No,
audience.
I just the good friends at Google say that an LLC is a legal designation that can protect small business owners from personal liability in business obligations. An S corp is a tax classification that can protect small business owners' assets from double taxation. Kind of what Steph was saying, but in different words.
Yeah,
Right,
and the
right,
biggest,
right.
the other biggest thing is that as an LLC, with Rich and I being owners of the business, we can't take a traditional payroll. So we take draws.
Right.
And then
Mhm.
I have to
Right.
manage our draws and our profits. And then I pay quarterly estimated tax filings with the Fed and the state. And not every small business owner is equipped to handle such a task.
Right.
And then that's when you
Why
get,
not?
You don't say.
you know, so that's a whole other show. And then so they get that whole, $20,000+ tax bill at the end of the year. And that's a hard nut to crack if you weren't preparing and saving and managing it throughout the year. So that's why a lot of small businesses elect to go with the C Corp or the S Corp, because then they get the traditional payroll and then they're paying into those taxes. And when they get their K1, which is basically their portion of their profit and loss statement on their taxes, it's a lot smaller of a nut to crack in theory, usually.
Typically. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of moves into point 2 and 3, which is finding an attorney and an accountant. Knowing a good bookkeeper that can keep your, poop in a group. So that way, by the end, when you got to file it, it's all easy and well off, right? Like, setting your stuff up correctly, I think, is just the biggest thing of making sure, right? Like for Carrie and I, we had a great system of people, and because we bought into a franchise that could help us set up. I think, Jeff, you're kind of in the same boat. You actually are in the same boat too, because you have a system. I think, Steph, you're the only one that kind of did it on your own.
Well, I didn't do it on my own. We had an attorney draft all of our contracts, and they read them, drafted them, made them. I definitely did. That was money well spent. That is not my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had a few clients that are attorneys. They've read through our contract and they didn't have much to say.
Right.
So I would say
that's kind of like the thing that I'm asking you guys is, how easy was your setup for your company to make sure that you're protected when you started rolling?
Hey, Tim Santos.
Oh, hey.
Hi, honey.
I can't wait to talk to you about the appointment you just ran. So,
hey, business later. All right.
As I
Business
was
later.
leaving, it was an interesting guy. But I'd say for us, it was pretty easy. So because Health Markets is a Fortune 500 company, we're 1099 under them. So we're all independent. But we have errors and omissions protection through Health Markets. Our contracts are all done through Health Markets. We utilize their network.
Great setup system.
So it's a matter of saying, do you want to be self-employed? How do you want to, not every Health Markets insurance agent has a storefront. That's something that actually makes Tim and I unique.
Okay.
It's actually very rare that
I feel like
they
that,
do.
Yeah. Yep.
But we do, because that's something that he has always wanted. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be with him if we didn't, because I can't work out of my home. I could never see myself doing that. So it's pretty simple for us to set
as
up.
a couple or as a business?
As a business.
Yeah. Say that the right. You really blurred both lines together right there.
Yeah, as a business.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just
But yeah,
protecting
so
you, Tim. Trying to protect you.
it was easy in a sense in that aspect.
That's perfect. So it made sense in what you had to build, and because it was just, hey, plug and play, right, for what you had to do. So not a lot of work that had to be done to protect yourself when starting your own business.
Correct.
Oh,
Jeff.
Outside
hey,
of
Carrie, the head Turner.
Oh, thank you. I do.
There's
look
the
good.
boss.
Yes,
Hello,
I
Carrie.
do look good. Thank you. I do look good. Thank you, wife of mine.
I would say my scenario is very similar to that. I mean, our agency, we have our own E&O insurance all set up for us. And for me, I've maintained my S Corp from switching one firm to the other just because it makes keeping the books and doing all of those things very, very simple for me with the W-2 from the S Corp, and then just everything. It's being able to designate what goes into the business and then how that passes through to me, and making sure that I'm protected from a personal standpoint. And obviously we'll get into this in a little bit, but setting up even a business insurance policy for myself, so that way that creates that additional layer of insulation from Jeff Bryant personal to Jeff Bryant the insurance agent.
I like that. What'd you do besides, like anything special outside of what you've mentioned?
I mean, we have our LLC. We had an attorney draft our contracts, and then we have business insurance, and then we have an additional insurance for cyber protection. So we have cyber in our insurance policy with our insurance agent, but we also have a separate policy giving us a significant increase because everything we do is on the cloud.
So, all right. So my question for you though, Steph, is these guys had a platform they can kind of plug and play, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally. Yep. I mean,
Absolutely.
like it's literally a plug and play. You didn't have that. I had a plug and play.
Your business is you created it.
What'd you have to do for those contracts you created?
How do you word them? Like, how do you even know what goes
the attorney
into it?
drafted it.
So you paid somebody literally right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
So the day one, after we got our FEIN number, we contacted attorney. We told them that we're going to be doing this service, that service, et cetera, et cetera. It's all cloud-based. This is the softwares we're using. There's potentially extra additional costs to clients based upon softwares and blah, 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 blah. So he drafted the whole thing, and how we identify the specific services per each client is all done through our Schedule A on the backside of our contract.
So with that, we've all gained our contracts. Now we go and start to get clients. What's the what was your biggest learning curve when it came to gaining a client that you're like, never again?
I think
I'm not doing that type of client again.
I think it's just figuring out what your niche is and figuring out who you want to work with. They always say that we always gravitate towards people similar to us, whether it's a business owner, it's a personal client. It just depends, demographics, their age, are they married? Do they have children? Do they not have children? Where are they located? Are you doing business in just McHenry County or Lake County? I've learned in the last couple of years that my license says all of Illinois. So I'll do business around here, or I'll do business with people 200, 300, 400 miles away. It doesn't matter to me, but I like working with business owners, especially people that have maybe recently opened up a business, because I remember exactly what it was like the first day opening the doors, how freaked the hell out I was, but also learning there's resources. You don't have to undertake everything. I'm willing to hand off those things, forming my S Corp, drafting all of my contracts and this and that. I'm leaning on an attorney. I'm leaning on my accountant to take out my taxes every single month. So it's a set it and forget it process. So I can focus on what's important to my business, which is acquisition and obviously servicing my existing book of people.
So you know that when you get a client that comes to you that's brand new in business and they say, hey, I'm freaked out. What do I do? What do I need? You can provide that level of service to them that you're like, hey, just trust me. This is what we're going to do. This is what you need to do, because I've seen this, I've done this, I've been in it.
There's nothing more satisfying to me in this business. I've been doing it for 8+ years, of walking somebody through just how we get everything set up, and it's going to be fine. We've got you, because I remember what it was like, and now trying to be that resource for people, it's very, very satisfying being able to do that. And it's not as hard as people think. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is an unbelievable task to do. It's really not. But for somebody that knows nothing, it does seem very, very overwhelming. And that's where Sally and I step in and say, we got you.
So here, Carrie says that contracts and documentation is our biggest CYA. And Jess
CYA being what? What does that stand for?
Assets.
Yeah.
There it is.
Epic Media is back up and running.
Yeah.
Back up and running. Way to go.
Thanks, Jess.
Way to go, Jess. So you more focused, Jeff, on what your best client is, not the client that you don't want to deal with.
I've learned who the people that I don't want to deal with are, and that's okay. But I would say everybody deserves a chance and a fair chance. I don't want to turn business away, but yes, I do know. I won't get into details, but yes, I've learned.
Well, we don't want to hear details. I'm just
by
saying.
seeing and doing. Oh yeah, I've learned.
So
It's called not being professionally compatible.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a great term. That's a great term.
That's what I use when we onboard a client. We're not professionally compatible.
Sally, who are you not professionally compatible with?
Well, that's a tough question to answer.
Oh, yeah.
See?
So
Right? Wow, loaded question, Joe.
we are professionally compatible with everyone. However, the toughest client to work with is the client that thinks they know more than the licensed insurance agents. So that is my biggest challenge.
Great point. See, point out those things that
it's the Google.
So it is there's nothing wrong with researching and being prepared and coming in with questions.
Right.
But when I am talking with a client to set an appointment, or someone's calling to inquire on what we do and how we help people, it's a chance. Sometimes I'm like sweating winning this appointment over, because these people are questioning and questioning and questioning and questioning. And it's very hard. It's so much easier to say, come on in, sit down, and we'll explain it all. But they're so frustrated, sometimes on the phone. So to win them over is like, woohoo, in those situations. But those are the hardest, toughest clients to work with. The ones that think they know more than you do.
Fair enough. I love that point.
I just want to point out that Jess mentioned that since we've been on air for about 20 minutes, Jess was able to hear our message, fix and bring the website back up in under 20 minutes. And that's how fast Epic Media.
Yeah, way to go.
I mean,
they're up and running now.
I mean,
way to go, Jess.
When you're truly authentic, there can be no competitors.
I mean,
it is. Let's read it out right.
I mean, with the continued growth of technologies these days, it's essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business, and a company that'll bust their ass to make it right in a hurry.
In 20 minutes or less.
It's better than
We're not
Domino's.
actually saying that. We're not actually saying that, Jess. Sorry, we put you.
With a smile,
Sorry, we
Jess.
put you in that pigeonhole, Joe.
But whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating your social media accounts to your business marketing program, epicmediainc.com can do it all.
Love that. There we go.
Really quick, I wanted to back up, and you had talked about like bookkeeping and when to bring a bookkeeper or an accountant in, and I think you probably agree with this. Number one, I think you do cross a threshold of growth in your business where you have to hire a bookkeeper.
Totally agree.
Also, I think your chart of accounts is something that you need to be extremely true to, like right from the get-go in running a business. Your buckets.
You are preaching to Carrie, my wife, like hard. She will probably chime in, right?
I've got a good friend over here that
she sent a peach for some reason, but
we don't know what that means.
Yeah, we're not.
Peach means ass. She's cover your ass.
Cover your ass.
Oh,
peach,
okay.
Cover your peach. Got it. Got it.
Oh my
yes.
God.
See, but wait, she just chimed in yes for the whole
chart of accounts.
Like she literally loves what you're saying right there, and knowing that.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. I mean, when we go and get our taxes done, our accountant is like going line by line by line by line, and if it's not there, it's like, well, where is it? So
yeah, nothing uncharted.
Yeah.
There should be no uncharted territory in your books.
Correct.
It just should be
ditto to what Sally has said.
Consistent.
Yeah.
That's what
Amen.
it is. It's consistency. Like if you,
correct.
Because I've had situations where I've seen books where people like go to the gas station and they'll have a category for fuel, but they'll also have a category for gas. And then it's like mixed in between those two categories, and it's just like redundant. So we do customized chart of accounts and cleanups as well.
Which is nice for our company. We started and they gave us a chart of accounts that was extremely detailed.
Oh, that's nice. We didn't have that. We had to create that ourselves.
Yeah.
Like everything we do in-house operationally.
So that's one of the details that we got out of our company, that we, so we had this chart of accounts, and Carrie lives and dies by
Oh,
it
we got
because
a
it's
question.
so well made.
So how do you,
Yes.
have you guys thought about how you protect your business if, let's say, one of your partners dies
Yes,
I
something
could
talk
we were
about
talking
that.
in the
Or-
green room.
or
That's right,
two of
that's
them
Sally.
die? Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about that in the green room. Funny you
Too
mentioned that.
soon?
I
Too
can-
soon?
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon? Man, yeah. Wills, estates, right? Go on, please.
So I think the best thing that if you're a small business and you have like a business partner, let's say Tim
It's
and
not
I,
your spouse.
Or
it can
my
be,
wife and
it
I,
can be.
My wife and I.
Okay,
I mean,
we'll
it's
do one
different
with
because-
spouses, and then we'll do one with not spouses because that's what we were talking about in the green room.
Yep.
Yes,
It's different
absolutely.
because obviously
Yep.
if something happens to him, it's coming to me, right? So there you
Ditto.
go. That's the difference.
Ditto.
But
Same
if
with
it
Carrie and I.
if it were like, let's say you and I have a business together and I'm the one that does all the marketing and you do all of the sales. So if something happens to you, I'm no longer making revenue. I can't service our clients. I can't do anything. So what we would recommend is if you're in that situation, a small business owner could take out life insurance on a key employee.
Mm-hmm.
So it can help you fund hiring another person, help you fund shutting down your business for a certain period of time so that you can train somebody else, up.
Does it cover personal things like if I had to have childcare?
Yeah, I mean, you literally could use it for anything because it's a life insurance policy, so it's not going to itemize what it's used for. So you could utilize
I have a
it.
heckler.
Huh?
Yes, you do.
I have a heckler.
A heckler?
Yes.
Oh,
I would not. I would.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
I want to make
yeah.
sure I hear this first.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Wrap that up.
yeah.
And
So
then we'll move to the heckler.
so obviously the employee has to know that you're taking the life insurance policy out on them. You can't take a life insurance policy out on anybody that's not aware of it. That's against the law.
But if it's your spouse, they should know.
Now that's different. If you have insurable interest,
Uh-huh.
you can take the policy out. So spouse, like Tim can have a policy on me, I can have a policy on him,
Right.
so on and so forth. But when you're an employer, your employee needs to know that you have the policy. And then you as their business partner and or employer would be the beneficiary, and the money is utilized for whatever it's utilized for. But I guess the thought process would be that it's utilized to help keep your business going should you lose this person, right?
Makes
so
sense.
if
Yeah,
childcare is what you need so
To-
that you
to
can
be
obtain
present,
additional training
to be
and
present
stay,
and train and
yes,
correct. Yeah,
then
makes sense.
that's what it is.
Makes sense.
Or
Yeah,
to
okay.
hire someone or whatever it is, bring in an expert, outsource
know.
it. Yeah.
Good to know.
And then
Excellent.
Jeff and I were talking about
Yes,
partnership agreements.
the actual partnership
stuff,
where you're not
because,
related.
Like
or,
if Sally and I had a business, and since we're not husband and wife or wife and wife,
I was
then,
gonna say, who's the husband?
Yeah. then if I passed, then Sally would be stuck with Rich technically
Mhm.
without that partnership agreement. So why
Yes.
don't you explain more about that?
Oh, interesting.
What
Right?
we would call it is a buy-sell agreement. And the first thing that you have to ask is, do you want to go into business with your partner's spouse? So again, if Steph and Sally are running
are
a
you paying
business together,
attention?
and let's say they've got a business that's worth $1 million, what would make the most sense would be for each of them to have a $500,000 life insurance policy in force for each of them. But first and foremost, before even funding the agreement, is talk to your attorney to draw up your buy-sell agreement. And then someone like Sally comes in and funds that agreement via a life insurance policy. So that way, if Steph passes, that Sally isn't going into business with Rich, Stephanie's husband. She's going to inherit the entire business, but Rich is going to actually get half of the overall, let's say, worth of the business via that life insurance policy. That's the funding behind your buy-sell agreement.
Or just make sure that you don't make enough money where the spouse goes, yeah, I don't want anything to do with it.
There's always that.
Where the
Point
spouse
taken.
goes, I'm out. I
I'm
don't
good.
want anything. I'm good.
Yeah.
Too soon?
that's just
no,
another way to
it's
protect
wonderful.
your business / the invested parties, because I mean Rich has minimal interest in taking
I wouldn't
over
say
a
that.
bookkeeping company and managing it, running it, that he's gonna
That yes.
live,
yes,
breathe, and die
yes,
by it.
yes.
Like he
silent
like
partner.
He's
There you
passionate about growing the business. He's passionate about a
Mhm.
lot of things with the business, but the day-to-day grind of the business, that's not his wheelhouse. So if something happened to me, then that means that the business he'd probably wind up selling it, unless he finds somebody to replace
We're
me.
like Carrie and I and you and Tim, you guys we're totally involved 100% in the business, both of us.
So
same with you.
shocker.
Oh,
Wait,
man.
like this?
However you want it. We're not. I mean, if something happened to Tim, I don't sell. So I don't, I am licensed. I don't do any of the active selling with our clients now. So what I would do, I mean, it might sound morbid that we've already actually even discussed this.
No, it's not. This is
But it's our
literally
business,
like
Part of
step
business.
one
Yeah.
of starting a
Probably-
business. No,
Probably not if you've discussed it in the office.
I mean,
if it's in the office, it's good. If
Right.
it's
At home,
if it's in the
Probably-
jacuzzi in the
Yeah.
backyard, yeah.
with
if
like
it's
a
in the,
plastic bag in my
Right.
hand. No, I'm
if
just
it's in
kidding.
the jacuzzi in the backyard, it's a little off,
Right.
right?
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, we actually talked about it. And right now, today, if something were to happen, our Tony or Arnie, sales leader, territory VP, would have to come and operate out of our office and train me like immediately. Yes. So would I close the business and sell it? No, I would do my best to get up to speed and then bring somebody in to do what I was doing and maintain what he was doing. If it happened today, that is what we would do.
So side note, shouldn't you just go get your license?
I am licensed.
She's licensed.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, I am licensed. I've been licensed since I joined him so that I can legally talk to our customers and answer. And I know the products and I know the differences,
Yeah.
but I don't use the software to actually put the recommendations together. Although I'm going to learn the selling process this year.
So it's merely
close
a
the
matter
loop.
of getting caught up to speed.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's not a logistic. Like to me, that's not like.
It's a heavy lift, though. I mean, he's been doing it for 6 years, so it's a lot of
I
knowledge.
agree. That's
replace.
something that's a position to replace, which is like Carrie and I.
Yeah.
If one of us were to pass away, I think our
Let's just stick with you right now. 'cause
We're
Carrie's
yeah,
not replaceable.
Carrie's pretty
Yeah.
solid. She'll live forever. We know that. I'm probably going to be the one to hit the
Yeah.
grass first.
You're in there shoveling poop. So
yeah,
let's,
I mean-
let's talk about that.
I know I don't shovel poop. I just live a rough lifestyle. We'll just call it that. So, but like to me, like if I were to, tank it hard, we have built into our plan somebody, a means of an income for the business, whoever. Got to talk to my attorney on how the wording is and the verbiage, but like there's means built in for somebody to take over and be hired into my position, right? So like it's not like I'm like she's just left in the dust to learn it all, right? So do you have like that's what I'm asking is are there the means built into your
I mean, I'd be asking,
program?
I'd be calling out favors, right? So I'd be literally asking like
It's
a
not
seasoned
that-
salesperson to
It's
come
not
in
that, okay,
and
okay.
like write it under his number so that I can get paid for it. So it would be tricky. I actually don't know.
So,
logistically
do
speaking.
you
How
and
that
Carrie
works.
have a living, or you and Tim, or you? Well, so
You
I guess you
and
well,
you.
your wife does something outside of the
Yes.
insurance.
So that's what I was
You're
going to weigh
dual
in on
income.
is-
Yeah, you're dual
Do
income.
you have a living will?
Yes, we have. My wife and I each have an estate and a will.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're not just a will because if
No,
I want
I
to
know.
say from my
Which is bad, 'cause
attorney
we
from
have 3
from
kids,
our
too.
from our
Anyway,
attorney that told us this, and I just want to say it out loud. Our attorney told us this, and I think it's one of the smartest things ever. If you build a will, that's great. That tells you where all your stuff is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have an estate,
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't have a bucket to go into, right? So if you don't build your estate, your will means dick.
It's just a
Right.
piece of paper.
Literally, it means nothing. So if you're going to build a will, you should absolutely build an estate
Yeah.
because the estate is where all the stuff goes.
Right.
The will is just
The
The-
direction.
the
will is
direction
The
of
will
where
is
it
the
goes.
instruction manual.
Right,
the
right,
estate
right, exactly.
is the
So-
actual things.
So I just want to
Buckets.
say, like, so no, my wife and I both have a will and an estate set up for the two of us, each of us, independently. So if anything were to happen to either of us, because this guy likes to do some crazy things.
Can't imagine. Can't imagine.
So
We don't have
she
enough time
wanted to
to
make
discuss.
sure that
You can tell by the look on Kent's face.
I'm
right
a shocker. Is that a shocker?
Well, that won't take your life, but
Yeah, I mean, like that's one thing.
Depends.
That's one thing that Rich and I have been
I guess.
irresponsible about as business owners and I guess adults. Is
Yeah.
that we have not created
We
our
haven't either.
Really?
living wills. But
We
I mean,
don't-
we have
we
life
don't.
insurance, but that's as
Really?
far as we've taken it.
We have
I
life insurance,
I
so
just
everything's
want to
going
tell
into
all.
probate.
I just want to
Everything.
tell.
my
Yeah,
children
I want to
included.
tell all
Don't
of you.
want that.
I want to tell
We have
all
a
of you. Just
question.
go and get your
I know.
freaking wills and estates done. Yes. Question from the audience.
For this key person insurances, we're talking about protecting your business. It also works if all of a sudden I get crippled. I don't have to die, right? It's like I can't carry on my duties from the business. Is that correct? Or do I have to die for that key man or person
No.
insurance to
No.
take over?
Well, for life insurance,
Let's actually, yeah.
yes.
Steph and I just chimed in, being the non-experts in this
Well,
room.
if I-
So that's precisely what happens all the
Yeah,
time.
no,
No.
Right?
to get, like, I guess I was thinking of it from an aspect.
Yes,
of
you do have to
getting,
die
like,
to get the life insurance.
Yeah.
You
to
have
getting
to
like
die.
bought out. Like I was thinking of it getting bought out. Like if Kent went cripple and his partner then bought him out because he could no longer fulfill his
Just- that's like
obligations and
disability
commitment within
stuff.
the
Yeah.
within the company. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I guess yes. That
Yeah,
was
that's
correct.
exactly what
Yes,
I was
you have
thinking
that,
too.
Kent.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, but there are, so like to your point, if you have like a accident, or you have a heart attack or a stroke,
Mhm,
or
yeah.
you get cancer and it takes you out, and there are policies, supplemental policies that you could put into place, or your employee could put into place. So let's just use Tim and I as an example and pretend we're not married. If we were like a tree trimming service, okay, and he has to climb trees every day, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the one that climbs the trees again, and I don't know how to do that, and you're my only tree climber, I'm going to take an accident. I would like you to take an accident policy out. These are for this amount. I justify X percentage coming my way to support the business. The other percentage can come your way, your family's way, to pay the bills for the accident that happened.
Mhm.
So those supplemental types of policies can be taken out by the employee, with a certain percentage being dedicated to the beneficiary of being the business partner, the owner of the business.
So speaking of employees, how do you feel about this? When Rich worked at Comcast automatically, as signing his agreement with them as an employee, they gave him a $10,000 life insurance policy because he had to climb those whatever electrical poles, and if he fell off and died or whatever, it was like a $10,000 policy, enough to bury him.
Mhm.
So it was enough to bury him, and that's what the company provided. Like, how do you feel about business owners paying for that policy on behalf of their clients to give that little peace of mind when they're in a dangerous industry?
Okay, so I think that it obviously is a perk if your employer offers you life insurance. However, being an individual that only had life insurance through my employer, and then thinking I was going to work there until the day I died, then losing my job and being laid off. Now, that happened when I was young enough to put a bunch of life insurance in place because I, am married to an insurance agent. So I owned my own insurance policies outside of my employer. The risk of only having life insurance through your employer is if you don't work there anymore, that policy no longer exists. So let's say you work and you have a great life insurance policy that's provided through them, and then you get cancer and you can't work. Now you can't get life insurance either because you had cancer. So you have no life insurance, period, and no option to get it. So life insurance in general, little bit. It's very, very nominal as far as cost. The younger you are, put it in place outside of what your employer is offering you. But I think it's great if
Look
they
at your
offer you
employer
something.
life insurance benefit as a bonus.
Yeah.
It behooves
that.
you to own it personally, and no matter where you go, 99% of employer benefits that offer life insurance, what Sally's getting at, it's not portable. If you leave, if you decide I'm going to take a better gig somewhere else, guess what? That life insurance policy for 100, 250 grand, whatever they're offering you, you're not taking it with you.
And you've paid into it too, if it's that amount.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
impressive.
Yeah.
Another
Hey,
question from the audience.
Listen, you're listening to In the Know with Steph and Joe here, 21.6 The Net. The two experts that they brought in today to talk about how to protect your business. We should give them a shout out. Let people know how to get in touch with them because there may be questions coming in after your show.
Okay.
I mean, there could be. So,
Sally, how do they get a hold of you?
Sally, yeah, ladies first.
Yep. So we are on Green Street in McHenry, or you can call us 815-271-5438. It's the best way to get a hold of us.
I own Rich's life insurance policy, Eric.
Best way to get a hold of me, phone number 847-361-2403 or Jeff Bryant at churchinsagency.com.
Steph at Steph's Bookkeeping Service, 847-942-3004.
Joe Turner, Restoration 1, 847-264-4664.
So, Jeff, have you in your career come across a business that was underinsured, overinsured, insured for random things that they don't even have anymore? Like, how does that look? Like, what do you do? What's your process when you go in to insure a business depending on their industry?
So the first thing I ask everybody is, what makes your business tick? Is it your employees? Is it your stuff? Is it your building? Is it a combination of everything? Are your employees driving vehicles? We had a little conversation, let's say, in the green room about how we're setting up business insurance, auto insurance, let's say. One thing that I will share with people is just a story. Joe and I talked about this earlier too, is just how stories resonate with people, is making sure, depending on how many people are driving your cars, that you're covered sufficiently, and sitting down and having a 5-10 minute conversation of how much revenue does your business bring in on a monthly, annual basis? What are your assets? Blah, blah, blah. Is making sure that you're covered properly. I had a client, after having a good conversation with her, she promptly, about a month or two later, decided that she was texting on her phone, rear-ended somebody, and cost about $240,000 worth of medical expenses. But because we had the right conversation with her, she spent nothing as far as that claim goes. If we would have simply left her current plan in place that was status quo, her business would have shut down the very next day because she would have been financially destitute. So I think it's just figuring out what makes your business tick and just asking questions and literally shut up and listen. That's kind of my philosophy.
Really quick, I think that Jeff just touched on something that maybe nobody caught. That's like a really good lesson from what he said. At the end of the day, when it comes to specific things, experts are key. So yes, you can do it on your own, but like he's saying, you might not be fully protected or fully understanding what you're purchasing, and it could be leaving you exposed to financial destitute, like he's saying. Same thing from my realm. It's not only insuring things, insuring people. It causes bankruptcy too if you don't have the proper.
Today's show brought to you by the phrase of the day: financial destitute. That was such a great term.
Thank you.
I'm here all day. Point it out. I just wanted to point that out. But that was beautiful. Financial destitute. Was a great
professional compatibility.
That's
that's another good one.
Financial compatibility.
I'm like, you know what? We're just not professionally compatible. We can't help you.
We just can't do it. I don't think we could do it.
No.
So let's talk protecting employees. There's right, because for me, having somebody, being a company that has, as many employees as we need to get the jobs done, right? Like the more employees we get, the more work we can get done. So we want to get as many people as we can in, but then I got to protect them. We're comp. I got to make sure that they're protected as far as not going to sue me in any way, right? Like, so what kind of protecting the employee thing besides work comp can we do that you guys understand as far as health coverage, right? Or as far as the actual insurance, right? I know a few things, but I just want to hear what you guys have to say.
I would say starting off for when they're on the job, it goes right to the work comp, is making sure, number one, that they're classified correctly. I have a few body shop clients that making sure the painter is classified as the painter, not as the clerical staff up front setting appointments, or as the guy that's running the overall shop, or the guy that's putting the cars back together. But for me, it's more about what are you doing on the job to make sure that your employees are covered while they're on the job. Where for Sally, I'll turn it over to her where it's more, what are you doing for people after they leave work? Because if you think about it, if people are working only 8 hours a day, that's 40 hours out of a week. And we're talking what? A week is 160, 170 hours a week. It's a lot of time when they're not on the clock per se.
So things that we had talked about as far as like protecting your business through your employees, you certainly would not buy and purchase and pay for life insurance on all of them, but your key ones if you're small enough, right? So I don't think you guys are small enough to do something like that. But like you might, because if you're only an operation of 3 and you're counting on your 2 people to really run your business so you can continue to acquire more clients, it's detrimental and it like stops you in your tracks. What I would recommend though, I mean, if you're in a place where you can offer health insurance, that's great because it encourages people to get their primary care checkups. It keeps them healthy. It diagnoses things sooner. Therefore, they miss less work and stay working. As far as additional policies that we would say from an employer to take out on your employee, it's all better done by them for the purpose that we just spoke. So any of these supplemental policies for cancer protection, stroke, heart attack, and accidents, if paid for and offered through you, the individual loses if they're not employed with you. So again, and then they cannot acquire the insurance themselves if the pre-existing condition is already there. So we have a lot of employers ask that we do group with, can I offer them life insurance? Should I offer them dental vision and things like this? We say absolutely, but have them come to us individually, and this is why. Because then the policy exists when they leave you, they own that policy. So they can keep it and go.
Well, okay. So now my question to you, Sally, is what about those things like Google where you go in and they make you stretch in the morning? You know, like the like.
Oh,
the, like,
yeah.
you know, like
Perks
like,
at work.
We're gonna go
I was
through our
like Google,
stretching
thinking
routine.
like,
no,
but like
Google,
what at
literally
Google,
you
like
go
their
into
company.
The Google, yeah. You go into the Google office and they make you stretch in the morning because they think you're going to be more efficient.
Well, I think whatever.
Really?
I don't do that in my office.
You're not Google.
I think that's more of like morale or company culture.
Like a group
Don't
stretch
get aggressive at me.
We could. If you guys
Don't
do
get
yoga.
aggressive at me, Steph. Jeez, she got I could be one day.
Yeah, we can have bookkeeping yoga.
I want to see Joe do that.
Listen, this boy can kick his foot higher than his head. So
I think that is more a culture and like that's like a company culture thing or being done for motivation or perks at work. I think it like what companies do that I think is good as far as health goes is when they bring people in to do those wellness checks every year. So when I worked for a corporation, part of obtaining our health insurance, we would get like a kickback on an HSA is if we signed up for the wellness check in the office. They took
nurse
blood,
came by,
the
sat
weight
in the conference room, and you went in and rotated through and
so, I mean, as an employer, if you wanted to offer something like that, what's that all about?
Yeah, wow.
Not everybody on the radio could see that.
No.
I'm sorry. That's really.
I like that.
We
spicy.
all just got distracted by the screen.
I'm sorry about that.
The studio audience is throwing up here.
What's that all about?
What did Eric say?
He said Steph's yoga, helping you stretch your
Books, your checks.
Your books, your assets. Wait,
helping you stretch your assets.
So it's ass.
And then what's the
Hashtag dad
I
jokes.
do Sally's wellness checks. Right.
He's such a dirty man.
Right.
That's part of the reason why I love him so.
Amen. That's why my wife loves me. Amen. Amen.
Jeff, one of the things that I wanted to touch base on you when you were mentioning the work comp policies. So if a business owner, they, have an annual review with their insurance company every year. But I don't feel like most business owners know, or they just don't take advantage of if they've had a killer year and they're growing and they're adding 4, 5, 6, 7 new employees, that they should really at the 6-month mark maybe give you a ring and say, hey, my work comp needs to increase because of this, and I don't want to have that balloon payment at the end of my audit.
Yep. I always tell my business owner clients, it's a living, breathing thing. We're all striving to grow our businesses as quickly and efficiently as possible. Give me a call and hey, you know what? The first half of the year, heck, the first quarter of the year, I've had a great quarter. What is this going to look like for me if I changed XYZ as far as my payroll now versus, you know what? I'm just going to let it roll till audit time. I can tell you, none of my business owner clients want a massive audit payment at renewal of, hey, you did great. You had an additional $75,000 in payroll. Great.
Way to go.
Here's an additional $7,500 in premium for your audit payment.
Right.
They'd much rather spread it out. But that, for me, that's just part of what I enjoy doing, is learning how your business is adapting and growing, and how can we make this as efficient as possible? Can we take that and sort of spread out that 6-month audit over the next 6 months instead of saying, all right, Steph, sorry, you did awesome. Here you go. Your reward is you get to pay an extra whatever in premium.
Yeah, I mean, because one of my audits when I was in my previous life was $25,000, and they wanted it right then and there, and it was an
lump
audit
sum
in February, and the construction season hadn't kicked off yet.
So you
February,
cash flow, cash flow might
So-
be at a premium.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so we worked it out, but
Another thing, I would add,
like worked it out.
no, I am just
okay.
awesome at negotiating, and they spread it out over 3 to 6 months for us.
there you go.
Love
And
that.
built it into our,
Which
next
is
year
possible
policy.
to do
Love that.
too, but
Love
most
that.
places
I mean, we were
will
paying
So-
over
be happy with that.
$100,000 a year in insurance.
Yep.
So we were a client they didn't want to lose.
So that's actually a great
Absolutely.
point, is that you learn from that initial, here's 25 grand, please take it, like a man or a woman or whoever you want to take it by, like, because it's coming at you. And you said, no, let's break this down into a few payments. And then let's also work this into next year, protecting your business to further be able to take that to the next level, because I may have been hit this year. We worked it out, but I don't want to be hit again next year.
Yeah, I'm not
right?
going to
Like,
got twice.
One thing I want to
got twice.
one thing I want to add, especially if you have a business that subcontracts a lot of your work. I know, Joe, you guys subcontract a fairly decent amount of your work.
Enough.
I've got, HVAC or plumbing contractors that subcontract a lot of your work. One thing that I recommend to everybody is, if you're subbing out work, make sure your subcontractors have at least what you have in insurance or greater, because if they have no insurance, guess what's going to happen at audit time is the insurance company that you have is going to look at those subcontractors that you've hired, and they're going to say, send us a certificate of their insurance. Well, they don't have any. Now those people just became your employees for the previous year, and your premium just skyrocketed because those people had no insurance and they're treated as your employees.
Speaking of, let's touch on this real quick before we kind of round this out, because we mentioned this before in the green room, but we never actually hit on here, the importance of umbrella coverage. In insurance, umbrella is important, and a lot of people have heard of umbrella coverage, but they don't really know what umbrella coverage is and what it can do for you, right?
Sure.
So you guys do no?
There's no umbrella coverage with health insurance.
Does
I mean,
it?
there would be packages that we think are ideal for people to make sure they're covering all your bases, but
There
it's
it
not
is.
referred
Okay.
to like that.
No.
Or it's not like packaged as like
Under
It's
the
more,
you get a deal.
more on like
if
a
you-
property casualty side
Yeah.
versus a life and health side. I mean, there are ways where you can create additional coverage above and beyond, let's say, an underlying policy on the life and health side. But for me, if you think of like what an actual umbrella looks like, is take all of your personal and or business policies, depending on which side you're doing things, and they all sort of hover underneath the umbrella. All that does is it starts with, what are your assets and your net worth as a business owner? We've got our underlying policies for, let's say, $1 million, but our assets equate to 1.5 million. Well, now we're going to create our underlying policy for $1 million, but we're going to create an umbrella for another $1 million. So in fact, what we're doing, at the end of the day, an umbrella policy is, let's make sure the insurance company's bucket of money is larger than your personal or your business's bucket of money. And to do that, you're paying pennies on the dollar to do so versus becoming, I'm going to use the phrase of the day, financially destitute by not doing it.
Sally, do you think, I don't know if you could answer this or not, but in your opinion, do you feel that as a small or micro business that has 5 or less employees, it's because you had touched on it before about the employee kind of having their own health insurance policy and kind of taking that with them as they, if they transition to other employers or other things versus the employer having a group policy? Do you feel like there's value in them having the policy and then the employer maybe giving them a partial stipend to offset the cost of the insurance?
So from a health insurance standpoint, right now, our government regulates all this, right? So there is no such thing as pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
So for health insurance, if an employee is offered it through work or has it on their own, that's okay. Really, the life insurance and like the ancillary benefits are what an employee should have on their own, as well as maybe through an employer, because they can take it with them. With health insurance, purchased on their own versus provided through the employer, the difference is the coverage, really. But they can still be insurable, pre-existing conditions or not, on their own and employed. But you touched on something, really, whether or not a small business wants to put health insurance in place would benefit 2 things. 1, them as the business owner. 2, providing a stronger benefits package is more attractive potentially to hiring employees.
Hiring better candidates than you would normally have brought in if you didn't have that benefits package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I would say putting a group insurance policy in place benefits your business and the employer, as it makes your business look sexier, right? You're more competitive because you have a benefits package.
Wow.
But
like
also, you can get your insurance potentially have a bigger network to choose from as the employer, as well as cost savings potentially. Stipends are fine. We have people that come to us that say, my company is giving me a stipend. It's this amount of money, and that doesn't really have anything to do with us. They're just purchasing their insurance on their own, and their employer is going to pay for a portion of it. And they'll do that when they see putting a group policy in place does not benefit them.
Okay.
So,
Usually
usually,
vote it both ways.
Yep. Yeah. We can do it both ways. And for a business owner, we likely will do it.
Yeah.
Both
ways.
Yes. Because I came
Thanks,
to
Joe.
your office, and I know another couple other small business owners in the local community have come to your office and talked to you and Tim about different options as it pertained to, do we make that next step and offer a group plan, or is it beneficial for us just to have the stipend and our employees pay for their own policies outside of our company?
And Tim will absolutely be able to tell you that. And we do have businesses that we work with that do it both ways. They either provide the stipend or don't, or they have the group policy.
And then what would a business owner need to provide you to get a competitive quote? Like, do you need, what are the key phrases that they need to ask for? Like a lost run report or their deck pages, or what's your phrases that they're going to look for?
Ditto. Yeah.
So literally just said it.
I would say 1 and 1A would be all of your declaration pages for your general liability, your commercial umbrellas,
if you have multiple policies.
If you have those.
Well, the wifey's on.
Oh,
hey,
hello,
Christina.
honey.
Oh, honey boo.
I would say your general liability, anything above and beyond that, your commercial auto, your umbrella, work comp policies, and then 1A would be your loss runs, which favorable loss runs being on this side of the business. Commercial, let's just say home and auto is a very black and white area. Commercial is a gray area where favorable loss runs, and for those of you that don't know what a loss run means, that's basically your claims history for the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years with insurance company A. If you've had no losses or claims, potentially you can get a much better rate on all of your policies because you look more attractive and attainable to the insurance company.
And then Christine
Perfect.
Ditzler says that she loves the Santos agency.
Oh, we love
and
you
that
too.
You guys rock.
Oh, thank you. We
So
try
I
our
guess
best.
We got 20 seconds or 10 seconds left. So I
Ish.
guess everybody
Run
it
through.
out. And
Yeah.
how can everybody get a hold of you?
Call us 815-271-5438 or find us right on Green Street, Health Markets Insurance Santos Agency.
Find me at 847-361-2403 or Jeff Bryan at churchinsagency.com.
Steph at stephsbooks.com, 847-942-3004.
Joe Turner, Restoration 1, 847-264-4664.
For all of us here, 21.6 The Net. Thanks for getting caught in the net. This has been In the Know with Steph and Joe. Go out, have yourself a great Passover, Easter, whatever it is that you're into this weekend. Just remember, Steph's Yoga will help you stretch your assets.